Hello, heroes. How's everybody doing tonight? Good to see you. Happy Monday. Happy convention scramble day to all who celebrate. It is yeah, it's time. I have run out of time to prepare for Buckeye Game Fest, so tonight we will be diving into that. I have some characters to make. We'll see what all we can get through. Hey, Warden Maximus, how's it going? Tonight's an exciting night, I'm sure, for fans of the 4th edition Mutants and Masterminds Kickstarter, because I will be making some 4th edition stat blocks for some of our favorite characters. Um, as you can see, I don't have a character sheet yet, so we'll be doing some Google Docs work just to get the stats together. I'll probably do some graphic design on them to make them look nice when I'm done making the stats, but the stats are the most stats are probably the most important part we need to get done. I'm good, Morton Maximus. I am a little stressed for this weekend, but good news is this game is one I'm running at Origins. So once I'm done with the prep work for it, I'll be done for Origins and MatineeCon. So who knows? This could be one good thing about me setting up to run this game so early in the year. And with a new edition, because I am a fool. No stress, only energy. Yes, much energy. I'm going to make a separate tab for a second. Because I need to look up. Oh, I forgot what I need to look up. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Okay. I made a meme about my current mental state. And I shared it with some folks who are going to be at the convention. And I figure we can put it on screen because it's fitting. And oh no, I shared this like 7 days ago. Great, good job, Alex. It'll be fun. Yeah, blank sheet's pretty daunting, and I don't have Hero Lab, so I'll be doing the math on my own. Take it easy on me. Really looking forward to when we have our character creator for 4th edition, which will not be Hero Lab, but we have a couple of irons in the fire right now to get some stuff together. If I can make that small enough that it's legible but not taking up too much of the screen. Guess I should open my phone up on Twitch. Okay. I'm also home alone this evening. My wife is off at a dog sit, so we can be as unruly as we want to be. I had so many perfectly good 4th edition games. Why have I done this? It's fine. It's fine. Everything's gonna be good. I can make M&M characters. I remember how. You remember? So, first thing I need to do is make a template that I'll be able to copy paste. Yeah, you know me. That's how we party in the Thomas household. We're gonna while out making M&M characters. Also, I'm gonna take my headphones off because I'm not playing any music, so I don't need that on. We're just gonna do our thing. So, Mutants and Masterminds character sheets. We have abilities, format, paragraph style, apply heading 2. Just gonna put a little bit of text in here so it's broken up. Man of Steel. Abilities. Strength. Agility. Sorry, stamina. agility, intellect, awareness, presence. Resistances. Dodge. 2. It's not in alphabetical order, but they're the ones that trade off with each other, so I'm just gonna mix them up. Fortitude and will. The Man of Steel, PL 12, 200 power points. Oh yeah, table is better for formatting, but this isn't the final format for the character sheet. I'll be doing something in InDesign with that. I just need the numbers. The kerning's not going to matter as much once I get the actual sheet in. I'll show you all sort of what one of my sheets looks like. Not Premiere Pro. I need Photoshop. Silly man. Or hey, Alana, how's it going? You're here just in time to watch me unravel. Image. Will probably show up on the whole screen, but that's okay. I'll show you sort of an idea of what the sheet will look like when it's done. It's just not the right. I am wearing a Titan City shirt. Gen Con 2025. Gen Con 2024. Oh, I know why. It's because I'm trying to load an image. Whoops. Yeah, the logo is done by a friend of mine named BK Bass. He did this logo back when the book was first published through Kyanite Publishing, but that publisher has since gone out of business, which is too bad. Where are my character sheets? Damn it! Surely I have character sheets in here. Not Hero Lab character sheets. Ah, what a day. Hello, Devious. We are making Superman tonight at power level 12, 200 power points. We're going a little lower than iconic power level for purposes of this exercise. Save. I want to save this image. Freaking thing. Come on now. All right. Sorry, everybody. 1 second. Da-da-dum. Save as PNG. There we go. Put it in the downloads. It's because they're PDFs, and Streamlabs doesn't want to play with a PDF. It wants a PNG file. But that's okay. I have a PNG file now. So this is what the character sheet will probably look like when it's done. This is a 4E sheet I used at UConn this year. This is for the Origin Playtest Edition. So I'll have I do it in landscape mode, so it's like a placemat for the players who are playing, and it has all the information they need to play the game on one page. And then usually that's accompanied by a separate page that has a little bit of character backstory and some of the relationships between characters in the group and the others. So Dr. Psycho here has his name, his power level at the top. I didn't keep track of points because I was in a rush, as I always am. But abilities, resistances, the combat box, damage conditions, and this is all laminated so people can draw on it with color with dry erase markers. The advantages. One thing I'd like to try to find some room for is a little sentence about what each advantage does. I'd sort of cheat myself a little bit on that because I know what the advantages do, generally speaking, with Mutants and Masterminds. I don't know what they all do in 4E, so having a little cheat sheet for that will help. On the power section at the bottom, I'm going to, I'm not super. This isn't what I'm going to do in the long run, but it worked as a fast, dirty character sheet. The font makes you angry? Not sure if links work in Twitch. I think the links work in Twitch chat. I did this font because it was reminiscent of Batman the Animated Series, Desmond. But yeah, once we're done, that's what it'll look like. The font at the size of the power section is hard to read. Yeah, and it was harder for characters who had more powers, for sure. I'll probably do something a little more reserved for the font this time around. But we're here. We're doing the thing. No, I will not do Comic Sans. I promise. So yeah, let's keep diving in here. We've got the resistances, combat, Control Alt 2. I need to remember that. Okay. Which includes attack, defense, defense class, and initiative. Actually, probably put initiative at the top of that box. Then we have skills. Control Alt 2. There we go. Perfect. The skills have changed in this edition, so I need to go double check what they all are. That should be Just Us League. The Just Us League. So, skills. Shouldn't I do them in alphabetical order because I'm not a monster? It's going to be double hard because I can't show you all the document I'm working from because that would result in screen grabs happening out on the internet, which we don't want to happen. And I should say the game is still in development, so anything that you see here tonight is subject to change by the end of the creation process. So if you do happen to see something on accident, don't do that. Chapter 4, Skills. Here we go. And of course, this is in a handy dandy table, so it's not easy to copy and paste. Huh. Yes. Oh, Devious. I love that. I love that skit with Brennan Lee Mulligan. I struck down Helvetica. Krillin mentions the Heroes and Villains of the DC Universe book, which is awesome. I love that book too. If you do actually show up, please be sure to warn us with the proper amount of screen grab time. I will do my best to be a good leaker if necessary. I will try not to leak if I can, but sometimes you can't help it but spring a little leak. No. Oh no. What did I do? Okay, we're close. Cool. All right. I need a second monitor. That would be really helpful. This might foobar the stream real quick, but let me see if I can fix it. Be a Spider-Man. All right, just give me a minute to go through this real fast, and I'll fix the screen. Acrobatics, athletics, deception, dexterity, expertise, insight, intimidation. I should have set this up earlier today. Sorry about that, everybody. Investigation, leadership, medicine, magic, perception, performance, persuasion, stealth, survival, technology, vehicles. Oh, Paradox, I'm sorry you're nursing a headache. That's unfortunate. But hopefully, yes, the builds can be useful for you in your DC themed game. They're not what I would consider to be iconic versions of the characters I'm building. I'm building player character ready versions at power level 12 with 200 power points. And I'm sort of using Justice League Unlimited as my guiding light because I always use Justice League Unlimited as my guiding light. Skills/skill specializations, which I'll go over in a little bit. Advantages. Control-Alt-2. Insert advantages. Just Assets tab is something that's not in the rules as written. It's something I like to do for my one shots. It is where I'll put things that I think might spark good role playing opportunities. Things that I don't necessarily want to pay points for, but I do want to see represented on the sheet. Things like the Fortress of Solitude, the Batmobile, the Batplane, things like that, where I want the character to have access to it, but I don't want them to be hampered from a point expenditure point of view. But they could also build things like Jimmy Olsen as an asset, or Crypto the Super Dog, things like that. Yes, Paradox, these will all be 4th edition. You can imagine that, Og. I definitely pulled up the list, though. But I appreciate your belief. Bat Shark Repellent, yep. Yeah, I want these for player characters at 200 power points. The adventure I'm running is going to be a little more grand than I would typically run. The White Martians are the villains of the adventure, so they're pretty powerful. And I want the players, like, the fun thing about running Mutants and Masterminds is not a lot of people play Mutants and Masterminds, so they won't know the difference necessarily. They'll just see that the numbers get bigger, and I think that's a fun entry point for folks. All right, let's tab 1. Duplicate. Rename. This is Superman. Rename. This is Batman. Duplicate. This is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. Duplicate. This is Martian Manhunter. I'll put their secret identities and stuff also, but I don't need that for character creation. Duplicate. The Flash. Duplicate. Hawk Girl. Needs food badly. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I get these 7 done, I'll have time to make more if I need to. But these are the ones from the cartoon. I need to get them done first and foremost. Aquaman does beat White Martians. For a free car for a billionaire, where's mine? No matter who plays Batman, the Batmobile will always be cool when your car is cooler than you are. Desmond, I fully believe you could make a lame Batmobile if you wanted to. All right, well, let's get the points on the board. Probably a waste of time and magic wax to put this on screen, right? Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to deal with that. I'll keep a calculator open. So at power level 12, Superman. The things I need to ask, because this is a player character version who is intended to have a role in the story. What is Superman's role on the team? Obviously, Superman is the one who can take the biggest hits, and he has some leadership capability. Those are the two things I want to lean into. So Superman, archetype, tank, leader. And it helps me to think about characters in this manner when I'm trying, because anytime you're creating pre-gens for a convention game, there are things that you need to consider that you wouldn't have to consider otherwise if you were just building a player character to put into a game of your own. Like if you were trying to develop a character for a game yourself. When I create a party of pre-gens, it helps me to make sure everybody has something dedicated that they can do. So the player who might not be familiar with what's going on or might not be familiar with the rules knows that they have something, they know sort of where the spotlight is meant to be for them. So with Superman, I'm going to be doing a lot of strength, a lot of stamina. The new leadership skill that Devious helped develop, we'll be looking at that. Probably some Inspire advantage. A couple of the other command advantages we'll take a look at. Although we have a fun opportunity here where Batman can also take on some of the tactical leadership abilities. So there's some field commander abilities that we can sort of build in for Batman. It's a VW Bug painted midnight blue with a spoiler mounted to the roof. Even the 39 Cadillac takes all the hits, so others know what they're up against. Yep. And if I am leaning into the cartoon version, I might even be able to build something that is reminiscent of the Cardboard World speech, where he might have a secondary mode that we can look into. Yeah, there's a lot of fun opportunities. We just sort of have to clear our heads and think about it. So, starting out, when I look at a power level 12 tank character, I tend to build tanks shifted 4 power points. So their defense is 4 below the offset, and the toughness is 4 above the offset. So power level 12 is 24 is our offset. So if we're 12 and 12, I typically would build Superman. Let's see. Let's see where we wind up. And I might even offset a little more for defense toughness for him and strength into hit. Yeah. Oh, Mister, I'm stuck. Don't worry. We can build Firestorm too. I just need to make sure that I get the ones. That's my trouble running Justice League games. Is I get the instinct. I really want to just bring everybody right. The first Justice League game I ever ran, I brought 78 pre-gens to the table. So people could play the character they've always wanted to play that they've never had the opportunity to. I had like Blue Devil, I had Vigilante, Shining Knight. There were so many characters. I think I had 7 freaking Green Lanterns available to choose from, including like Kilowog and Chip, and just sort of just whatever I could throw in very quickly. It was way too many. It led to a point where we spent like 30 minutes for everybody picking characters because it was too much to choose from. It led to analysis paralysis, so I would not do that again, more than likely. I wouldn't do that many. I might bring like 20 characters or something. Like when I do the I've done Legends of Tomorrow adventures before where I'll include a few Arrowverse characters, like I include Green Arrow and Flash and Supergirl, so that they, just in case somebody hasn't watched Legends, so there's a more familiar character for them to pick from. I did not bring Ambush Bug because Ambush Bug is a lot. I didn't bring Ambush Bug for the same reason I don't typically bring Deadpool as a player character choice. Yeah, Paradox Legends of Tomorrow is great. I've been rewatching it. I watched season 3 this weekend. All right, so Superman. Bum, 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 bum. Strength 18, stamina 18. So he'll have an 18 toughness. He'll have a 10. No, just kidding. For power level 12. 16 stamina, 16 strength. I'll throw some powerlifting in there for some additional strength tricks if we want. 200 minus 32 for that. And you know that's I have built an iconic version of Superman at like power level 16 with 300 plus power points just to make sure I got all the versions, all the tricks I want Superman to have. Oh no, Og, you got to get back into Legends. It gets really, really good right after Captain Cold leaves. I'll probably do raw stamina for his toughness, but include an impervious protection on there. Or include impervious toughness as an extra thing for his toughness, but without having to spend protection on it. If I was trying to do something that was more like this is the comic version of Superman, I would probably have a Kryptonian physiology effect, like a multiple effect with all of his Kryptonian powers that I could turn off for when Kryptonite's around or when a red sun's around. But I don't need to worry about that for this. Agility. Put 4 points into that. Intellect. I hate to do this to him, but probably 2 or 3 awareness, 2 or 3, maybe 4, and then we'll give him a presence of 4. Presence in fourth edition, the amount of leadership advantages you can have is directly tied to your presence, so you do need some points in presence if you're going to be a leadership character. Calvin and I were talking about Legends the other day because, for obvious reasons, he's getting ready to run Chrono Crisis for us. Oh yeah, Mister, I'm stuck. That episode with Rip Hunter as a student director working with George Lucas was fun. I like that stuff. What I like about it, I don't know. I love that Legends knows what it is and it commits and it sticks with its bits, right? So 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract 8 from that. 6, 8, and 8. We have put 62 of our points into abilities to start for Superman. It leaves us with 138 to build with. At the moment, our dodge is a 4 because of its tie to agility. Our toughness is a 16 thanks to its tie to stamina, as is our fortitude. And our will is currently a 4. We'll want to put some points into that. I tend to save those for the end because there's other things we need to get. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. It's probably my favorite live action superhero thing, which I know is insane to say, but they get me. They know who I am. They know where I live. Double check something in the rulebook real quick. You can't look up the word attack in a Word document for a role playing game, Alex. Are you crazy? There's 1,200 instances of the word attack. I need to know if attack has any root ability. Also, y'all, my brain is fried. Um, I'm preparing 3E stuff for Wednesday for the part 1 of the finale for Guardians of Haven. I'm doing this 4E stuff, and I've done proofreading for Valiant this weekend. So I have 3 different versions of Mutants and Masterminds kicking each other in my brain. And I'll do my best to make this as entertaining as I can, but I know it's not necessarily a barrel last for y'all. Using the measurements table. I don't need the measurements table. I need to know about abilities. Also, I'm working from a Word document, which is not it's not as good as working with a PDF with a table of contents. If I was smart, what I would do is I would use the character creation archetypes in the book to make power level 10 versions of the characters. But I'm not a smart man, but I know what Mutants and Masterminds is. Also, this doesn't apply for the Justice League, but I'm glad that I can just say Rocket Raccoon is small size for Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't have to worry about building anything like that. No, go the other way. Go the other way. That's what I thought. Okay. So combat abilities. These are combat ability ranks for your attack. Combat ability start at rank 0. You can spend 2 power points to increase either attack or defense by 1 rank. So attack and defense are not tied to any specific ability. You can take a specialization in an attack. You can specialize in a specific attack, weapon, or power, gaining 2 ranks for 1 power point. So basically taking a skill in like archery or unarmed, things like that. Which with the numbers I'm at, I'm trying to get to an 8 attack and an 8 defense, probably. I could go lower than that. Hey, that's what's up. Bringing Rip Hunter into a game. I love that. Oh, wait, the Google Sheet linked is working for 4E? Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Give me a minute, let me look up Calvin's link here real quick. I don't think I understood what Calvin was saying about that spreadsheet. Calvin, can you relink that chat for me real quick? As for whether innate size, oh, not sure how to update it. Would be the rules changed since it was made. I think the rules have changed since it was made, so I will continue my. Let me see. Do you have all the stuff? No, this is the Origin edition. Bummer. That's okay. It is a nice spreadsheet, though. I will watch their progress with much interest. We'll keep doing math our way. So that's another 32 points for attack and defense. Means our defense class is 18. I love to put defense class on the character sheet so I don't have to say, what's your defense plus 10 when I'm asking somebody to look real quick. Yeah, it's okay. I should be better at the math anyway. It's important. Forgot to mark down which skills can be used untrained, because of course I did. Chapter 4. Okay, there we go. Interesting. What accent? What voice? So, dexterity cannot be used untrained. Expertise cannot be used untrained. Investigation cannot be used untrained. Leadership cannot be used untrained. Medicine cannot be used untrained. Magic cannot be used untrained. I do like that magic's a skill now. It's a good choice. Performance. Especially for if your game doesn't necessarily have a lot of magic users in it, I think it makes a lot of sense for just magic to be a skill, or if you don't have a very in-depth magic system in your game. If you do, having specializations helps with that a lot. Yes, investigation cannot be used untrained. Yeah, I like that language as a skill now. I just do the +10 in my head because people are going to be sharing all their stats when they all out, or yeah, Shanghai changing all their stats when they all out in defensive attack. And one fun thing about 4th edition is now everybody can use all of the maneuvers. The difference is you cannot double your bonus, and you cannot reduce your bonus below 0 um, for maneuvers. So you can power attack, but if your bonus to hit is only +2, you cannot go all the way to +4 with accurate attack. You're limited to +3 with accurate attack. So it prevents minions and lower power level characters from finding ways to subvert um, things like impervious toughness and the like. All right. So, Superman, we have 106 points left to spend. And what I'm going to start with is Superman's powers, because that's where we're going to find the biggest expenditure, I think. Calling BS on investigation. We get 3 more people and a monkey, then we can make Alex paint himself powder blue and run around saving the day. Look, Bebo is here. I will Bebo all over this place if we need to. So, when I'm thinking about Superman, we're thinking about things like invulnerability. Faster than a speeding bullet. I definitely spelled that wrong. That's fine. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. I'll probably just change that to up, up, and away. Tonian powers. Ray. So one thing that I do with Superman when I'm building him as a player character is I will put a lot of the Kryptonian special abilities into an array. This includes heat vision, ice breath, the super senses, um, super sneezing, memory for getting kisses, anything like that will fall into that powers array because we only use one of them at a time. An argument could be made to pull out the sensory powers, but it's generally too many points when I'm trying to fit him into a little box like this. Super Sneeze is a power stunt, yes. Who has access to a monkey? Yes, the Cellophane S power. Um, Mr. I'm stuck. That should be an untrained skill. All it takes is a willingness to pursue the unknown. Yeah. I don't know. I think when you're in, I, and that's the, it's weird. It's the weird sort of negative space between perception and investigation, right? Where any time that you're looking for clues and the like, it can just be a perception check. But for me, investigation as a skill is more the cognitive ability of putting it all together. Like the, and I think specializations will help with that. Like, what does it say about investigation in here specifically? Investigation. Can't believe that innuendo trick came up in a game the other day. For Love is in the Arrow Part 1, somebody mentioned innuendo as a trick for deception, and it definitely made the story. It did a lot of fun stuff with the story. Yeah. So investigation, intellect trained only, technical specializations, analyzing evidence, gathering information, searching, surveillance. You know how to search for and study clues, gather information through interviews and surveillance, and analyze evidence to help solve crimes. Gathering and analyzing evidence are technical and require tools, but the other uses of investigation are not. The GM may make investigation checks for you in secret, so you do not know exactly what you have found or if you may have missed something. Then it talks about what to do with it, or like searching, gathering evidence, analyzing evidence, all the fun uses of it, gathering information. Oh, good, and the leadership skills right after that. So, what I know about invulnerability, these powers we want immunity and impervious toughness. Faster than a speeding bullet. Actually, up, and away, and faster than the speeding bullet will be in an array together. This covers super speed, flight, quickness. More powerful than a locomotive is going to include powerlifting and yeah, I don't know if I'm going to give him very many strength stunts. That's probably more something we'll do power stunts for things like big claps or punching the ground, all that stuff. I'm surprised there isn't a Superman builds in all versions of Eminem by Alex Packett in DriveThru RPG. Getting a high school diploma gets you beginner's luck. Yeah, we do teach. Well, we teach some kids investigation as a core skill. I don't think they all take to it, especially all the chat GPT going on. Then the Kryptonian powers array is going to include heat vision, ice breath, super senses, other stuff. Probably keep it iconic for now. So let me look up immunity, see if life support's still a thing. It is 10 ranks for life support still. Perfect. So immunity, life support, 10. And impervious toughness is a little bit different now as well. Now, if I remember correctly, it is 2 points per rank, and you are immune to your impervious toughness and lower. So yeah, 2 points per rank. We're not going to go all the way to impervious 18 because that would be 36 points, or impervious 16 because that would be 32 points. And we don't need to worry about power level 16 effects in the adventure I'm running. Telling someone to go Google it is an investigation. Yeah, I mean, I see the argument where everyone can investigate even poorly. I'll make a note to talk to Steve about it. See if he's open to changing that idea. Let me. Where's my pen? There's my pen. Not that one. Investigation untrained. Question mark. If I go impervious 10, that would make him immune to basically tank shells and below. So I'm going to go with impervious 10 to start. That's 10 points for life support and 20 points for impervious 10. Now, I generally build his heat vision to avoid putting points. Oh, I guess I don't need to worry about that in 4th edition. I don't have to worry about I need a ranged combat skill for my heat vision because my attack is 8. What I usually do with heat vision is I make it a distracting perception ranged attack. So basically, he has to like brace and fire, which makes him easier to hit on the follow up turn, but he's guaranteed to hit you with it. Which I guess is more like Omega Beams, but powerlifting in the other half of Impervious in an array. That's a good way to save. Miss Violet, technically speaking, you're not allowed to make an untrained skill check if you're not trained in it or have the Jack of all trades advantage. So put in Impervious Toughness here for 8. That'll be, well, I guess I can even go lower than that for, if I go to 6, that makes him immune to machine guns and the like for 12 points instead of 20, so I get 8 points back. And then I can spend powerlifting slash, I've got basically 8 points to put back in for impervious toughness to go back up to 10. So if I go powerlifting 8 and impervious toughness 4 array. So that means effectively strength 24 for picking things up, which is great. I mean, what is that in 4E? We move the ranks around a little bit on things. I'm so sorry. I've got to scroll through this Word document looking for things. And it's really little on my screen. I need a second monitor. I need to figure out why my laptop won't connect to a second monitor. And it could just be this monitor that's busted. Like, yeah, strength 24, let him lift 400,000 tons. Do we have something for that? Oh, the Empire State Building. Perfect. According to the measurements table, the benchmarks table. I always make heat vision damage 8 with accurate to cap out accuracy. Yeah. Is there a difference between doing that and just asking for a perception roll, besides being less specific? That is the lifelong question for Eminem, right? Like, there are so many things that investigation can find through the perceptions. Like, perceptions can find things that the investigation skill can find. But for me personally, it's about interpreting the data more than finding the data. That's sort of where like, if you have a high perception and no investigation, typically I'll have you find the clue and then somebody with investigation can interpret what the clue means. Which, you know, we're going to want Superman to have a pretty good perception because of all the fun super senses he has. So, heat vision. Will be ranged damage 10. That gives me plus 8 to hit. It does damage 10, so it's pretty good damage. That's 20 points right there. Oh, I need to subtract 9 points for powerlifting and impervious toughness for the array. 8 points for the 4 points of impervious and 1 point for the extra power. And then 20 points for heat vision. And it'll be another 2 points for the other 2 powers here. Ice breath will just be a cone area snare. 10. And super senses. Well, we gotta have the classics, right? Let me see how much each sense costs in 4th edition. Oh, it's under enhanced senses instead of super senses now. Okay, cool. All right. Senses. 1 point per rank. You have 1 or more enhanced sensory abilities or added sensory abilities beyond the normal senses. Allocate ranks and enhanced senses to the following effects. Some options require more than 1 rank, noted in the descriptions. We have 20 points to work with for super senses. So, oh, I didn't know vision and hearing are already acute. I've been paying for acute senses for a lot for vision and hearing. But analytical is different. Beyond acute, you can perceive specific details about anything you can detect with a particular sense, such as chemical composition, exact dimensions or mass, frequency of sounds, and energy wavelengths, and so on. Awareness counters concealment. No, I've got penetrate concealment. That's what I've got to worry about. Direction sense, distance sense, extended sense. We're going to go with the start. Extended vision, extended hearing. Oh, sorry, I was reading. See things with bloody handprints and splatters on them, a clock, a boot, a cane, a door handle, and a book. Versus you see the path of the struggle. He was reading a book, leaning on a cane, shoved down. He grabbed someone's boot. Why the boot when fighting for your life? Oh, Michael in chat, you're fine to be here. I know you're going to play this game, but I'm just making the characters tonight. I'll be doing the plot stuff another time. And I promise that time will not be the hour before the game starts. Extended. Multiplies the distance value for -1 penalty for your perception check with a range sense by 10. So if I go to 100, that's 2 points per. Again, not, Superman can hear stuff on the other side of the galaxy through vacuum, so, but it's fine. Hey, Paul. Paul knows what I'm about. Look, I will do my best to be ready before the convention, but we're doing the damn thing, okay? If I get the characters done, everything else is cake. Actually, if I get the characters done and my table handouts done, everything is cake. The last minute is the only time to do things. Oh, Paradox, what's your least favorite movie of all time? And what's the tangent? Can you share the tangent with us? The deadline approaches, and we must be doing all the doings. Please activate deadline mode. Infravision. Dark vision, he's probably got as well. Infravision, microvision. Dust-sized objects for 1 rank, cellular size for 2 ranks, DNA and complex molecules at 3, and individual atoms at 4. We'll probably go DNA for this one. Microvision 3. Just read this. What size is that again? DNA and complex molecules. So molecular level. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 11 more points to work with. We're going to give him radio sense. Go get your radio waves. Because Superman be doing that. Penetrate concealment as well. Vision penetrates concealment. It's a funny way to say X-ray vision. Passengers starring Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. Am I handing out cake? I might be handing out cake. We'll see. Might be an unpopular opinion, but it's Eraserhead. Paul loves Eraserhead, but can understand why people would despise it. It's pretty much an archetypical example of not all tastes. I'll be extremely biased in any conversation about it. I don't dislike a lot of things, but I absolutely despise that film. Actually, I haven't seen Eraserhead, which feels incorrect. It feels like I should. I could picture stills from Eraserhead, but no, I have not. Ultra Hearing. Ultravision. Is that still the case? Is one hyphenated and one's not? Okay, yes, they are. I'm going to send Steve a complaint. Yeah, I think Rapid Vision is a good choice as well. He can see things fast. I've got points to work with, right? Rapid Vision. You could take information from a sense faster than normal. 1 rank increases your perception speed by a factor of +3 time ranks, +2 for an entire sense type. You can use Rapid Vision to speed read, pick up flickering between frames of a film, watch video replays and fast forward, such as Rapid Hearing to listen to time compressed audio and so forth. If you also have quickness, your rapid sense ranks apply on top of your quickness ranks. That makes sense. You would have to be able to perceive things faster than you could do them, right? Even just physically spot, right? Yeah, you got to see fast if you move fast. So that would bring us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I could put another point or two into vision and hearing so you can see 1,000 times farther. And I'm not going to fuss with it too much. We're good. That's those abilities. Super speed. How many points do we want to put into super speed? We have 53 points left to work with. I need to get some advantages and some skills in. But is flight still 10 points per rank? So we're going to go flight, speed, alternate effect, because he doesn't be able to fly fast and run fast at the same time. And then quickness will always be on. Yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying their 4E their 4E snap sneak preview. Fight is still 2 points per rank. Yes, must be. I'm in the effect chapter, so I should just be able to scroll up to effect. Elongation. Here we go. Dimensional travel. Movement. Enhanced senses. Oh, fights after enhanced senses. Duh, Alex. Extra limbs. Oh, we're getting close. Feature. I love the feature power. I wish there were more people put things into features. My game is currently on hold waiting for 4E, as well as instead of playing WoW like I should be, I've been playing way too much Slay the Spire 2. I hear Slay the Spire 2 is awesome, though. People be giving him 17 quickness, and I'm here like, 9, please, thank you. Yeah, I do think the Superman, I mean, it depends on your Superman. Like, he's got some feats where he does have, like, Flash level quickness. Like, I've seen him learn brain surgery in an instant and come back and do brain surgery on Lois. Like, but in Eminem game terms, you don't want Superman to step on Barry's thing, right? I like the power profiles added features for the different power types. Yes, I think features are great. I like features, and I love the benefit advantage. If you have a cool game master, I'm just gonna give him fight 11 because that is breaking the sound barrier. That's 22 points. Minus 1 point for the super speed effect. And then alternate effect quickness. Or, sorry, the alternate effect is for speed 11. Quickness, I'll just give him. We don't need that many points in quickness, and I need to save some points for other stuff because I only have 30 left. We'll just go with quickness 3, which means that he can do things 6 times. No. How does that work? 2 goes to 4 goes to 8. He can do it 8 times faster than a regular person. Yeah, I promise we'll have a book similar to power profiles for 4E. What we don't want to do is just do a 4E version of all the 3 books that have come before, because that doesn't feel right to us, right? For you all, like, you already have those books, and you could convert the stat blocks in them yourselves if you wanted to. It's just not fair to you. I need to put a couple points into resistances up here. I'm going to go up to dodge 6, which will take off 2 more points. And I'm going to go up to will 8, which will be 4 more points, which leaves me with 24. Let me look at my skills in here. I need expertise journalism. He's starting with a 3 intellect. It's 2 points, or 1 point per 2 power points. So if I go to 3 to 8, we're looking at. I'll just go 3 to 9, and I'll just pay 3 power points for that. Six ranks. I don't think he's going to have beginner's luck, but I do want to make it a best practice or for somebody who wants to spend a hero point to have beginner's luck. Yeah, Power Profiles is a great book. I think it's one of the best options for pretty much anybody. If you're looking at No, actually, I think. Wait a minute. Let me double check how expertise works because technically, I think that's a specialization of the expertise skill. So it might be. It might cost different. It might not. I might be wrong about that. But oh, come on, Word, figure it out. Thank you. Take me where I want to go. One PowerPoint per 4 ranks for a specialized skill. One PowerPoint buys 4 ranks in expertise skills rather than just 2. As with all other skills, all 4 ranks don't have to be assigned to the same area of expertise. Each expertise is considered a separate skill, and training in each is acquired separately. Okay, so if I spend 2 PowerPoints, I can get plus 8 to this. But I'm going to give him a second expertise. So I can still get my 8 here. That's just... If I spend 2 PowerPoints on expertises, I can have journalism plus 9 with 6 specialization ranks. And I can do expertise farming. Or realistically, if I would give him farming if I was building an iconic version of the character, but I can do expertise alien, which will be more useful in this game. He won't be the best on the team at it. Martian Manhunter will be the best at it. But this way, if nobody picks Martian Manhunter, there's still a character who has that backup skill. Right. One thing people forget when building comic characters is that hero points exist. If it's a power or power level the hero uses infrequently, there's every chance to use hero points to get it. Yes. Clark absolutely has beginner's luck. Remember, you just mentioned him instantly learning a surgical skill. Yeah. That's how I built the baseline powers for Paradox and expanded on it a lot. Big fan of power profiles, says Devious. Would be an instant buy for me in 4th edition. Lois Lane -2. So I could put 2 points in this that gives him a +5 to it. Which isn't awesome, but it will make it so he'll succeed roughly 30% of the time on checks for it. Something like that. Athletics, I'm not going to put any points in because +16 is plenty. Acrobatics is no longer a trained skill, so he's got a +4 in that. Deception is a +4. I will not argue that he will have any more than that. Insight, however, maybe. He starts at +4 for that. Intimidation's +4. Investigation, I'm going to go with a 0. I'm not going to... yeah. I'm going to buy a 1-point feature. I'm going to give a benefit advantage that allows him to use expertise journalism in place of investigation skill checks. Oh, good question, Krillin. Who's better at alien knowledge, Martian Manhunter or the GLs? Or does their knowledge just come in different forms? I would say I usually build an Owen database into the Green Lantern rings, so they will also have a very high expertise in that. Although that's generally takes the form of eidetic memory when I build it. Eidetic memory's changed a little bit in 4th edition, so I'll have to double check how I want that to be. But in 3rd edition, eidetic memory gives you basically untrained for all expertise skills and a +5 circumstance bonus to remember things. So if the ring remembers it, they get a +5 bonus on top of their intellect. And any additional scholarship they might have in the subject, like Hal probably doesn't study up on the aliens all that much, but I imagine John would. We had a lovely discussion, I think, about the Lanterns trailer that came out last week. I'm interested in the show. I think it's going to be, I don't know. I'm I'm hopeful. It's a very different tone than I was expecting. And some of that's because they held off on showing any of the constructs or anything in the show. So, who knows? I don't know exactly what to expect, but I'm excited. Even though it does feel a little bit like True Detective Green Lantern. All right, I'm looking up the leadership skill now just to double check what leadership does. So I can see how many points I want to put into that, and so I can make a note of what it all does. Also, I'm going to step off to the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I'm back. Paradox, I always wonder how people use the OA database or AI databases that's in the books and also DC Adventures book. Krillin's a big John Stewart fan, as am I. I'm of the right age that John Stewart was my first Green Lantern on the cartoons. It took me a long time to know that there were other Green Lanterns. Or other human Green Lanterns, I should say. Lanterns know things when they see them, and if they don't, they can look it up in their database. Yeah, and I mean, there's always the question, right? Like, I'm going to put Krypto on here as an asset of Superman's. If I don't put Krypto as a sidekick, it means that Krypto can be brought into the story, but who knows what Krypto will do? He's a good dog. He'll be generally helpful, I'm sure, but he could also be a source for complications. He could be a source for additional peril for the story. Also, for probably no correlated reason, I am a big Phil Lamar fan. I can't imagine why. Ah, Dexstar is so great. I love Dexstar. All right, let's check out this leadership skill. You are an effective leader, giving commands to a team in tactical situations. Most of this skill's functions are for those under your leadership. Characters choose who they follow as a leader if there's any question whether or not they are under a particular other character's leadership, but can only follow one leader at a time. Coordinating. You can use your leadership to contribute to a team attack with characters under your leadership, making a skill check in place of your attack check. See Team Attack in the Action and Adventure chapter. Your check result cannot be the primary attack, so at least one of the other characters involved in the team attack must hit with an attack for your degrees of success to contribute. An added success on your leadership check is considered a critical hit for purposes of the team attack. You can also use your leadership to contribute to a check sequence where your ability to coordinate and direct others under your leadership can add to the sequence's overall success. Directing. Take the command action to make a leadership skill check to actively direct someone under your leadership. With a check result of 15 or more, they gain a +2 bonus for the action check you've directed them to perform. With a result of 25 or more, they gain a +5 bonus. The subject must take the directed action on their next turn or the bonus is lost. You can use leadership to overcome the effects of impress actions on those under your leadership. See Overcoming Impressions. Swaying, you can change the attitudes of those under your leadership with a leadership check like a use of Persuasion. See Persuasion for details. Unlike Persuasion, this only works on those who have already chosen to follow your leadership. Okay, so maybe I don't need leadership skill for Superman. That feels more like a Batman style or a Captain America style skill. But it's only going to be green in that show so they can build up, at least for the first season. I don't know. I thought I heard that there might be a reveal for the first big bad of the DC universe in the Lantern show. I thought James Gunn might have said something about that. I do like that they're taking their time, and a lot of things feel sort of disconnected at the moment. Like Peacemaker season 2, I thought was going to be a big reveal for what was going on, and in some ways it was. I mean, it's cool that Luthor is starting to pull some strings from prison, and there's something going on with Rick Flag Sr., but it was very compartmentalized. Medicine. Magic +0. Perception we'll put some points into. He starts off at 4. If I put in, how many points do I want to put into perception? If I put in 2 power points, it gets us to +8. If I put in 2 more, it gets us to +12. So -4 power points will take us to perception +12. I do like when Superman has a high perception check to make use of all of those super senses. Persuasion, he's going to have a pretty good score in. We'll go with +10. He starts at 4. We'll add 6 power points, so -3. Stealth, I mean, his agility is +4, so we'll start with that. Survival +0. Technology, I do want to put a couple points into technology for him. He starts at 3. If we get him to 7, that'll be 2 power points. And vehicles, we'll just go +0 for now. I know he can drive the Javelin, but I don't really want to spend points on that. I've got 14 points left to spend. If I have some more points, I'll come back and I'll put them into vehicles probably. Maybe a couple more points in perception. So advantages. First advantage I know for sure. Benefit, investigative journalist. Clark may use his ranks and expertise journalism in place of investigation. Place of the investigation skill. Check with your GM before you come up with a benefit like this. I like things like this that just tweak a little bit how the character plays on the table. -1 point for that. I also hope the sale doesn't ruin anything in the DCU plans. I'm over it. 12,000 feet before struggling to see something obvious. Do they look it up in their heads or do they talk to the ring? I like talking to the ring personally. Yeah, I think the ring having a personality and responding is my preferred version. But I don't think there's an incorrect answer to that question. I think sometimes it just beams information into their brains and sometimes it doesn't. All right, let's go check the advantages. It's probably chapter 5, if I had to guess. It is chapter 5. Good job, team. All right. We'll take beginner's luck. Contacts, maybe? Maybe contacts. Make an initial investigation check in 1 minute. Or connections is a persuasion or expertise check. I think connections to represent his journaled connections, journalistic connections. Especially since this adventure takes place in Metropolis. It's not lost on me. And I do, when I'm running convention games, I will tweak the character sheets a little bit for the scenario that we're running. I do love custom complications for the specific story that we're telling as well. Which I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into complications. I like determination as well. Determination is a new heroic advantage you can take. You can remove dazed, fatigued, or stunned, or get a new resistance check. It's basically a free use of the hero point use to get rid of fatigue. Sorry about that. Sneezy. Um, I also like to put extraordinary effort on Superman. So if I do determination. Now, this is a new heroic advantage, and the heroic advantages are basically uses of hero points that you can bake in with your advantages at a rate of 1 per rank per adventure. It's a way to guarantee that you can do certain things with a hero point, especially if you have a stingy game master. Which I hope everybody here is not one of those. I'll only do 1 point of determination. Also, the heroic advantages are limited to half power level for all your heroic advantages. Oh yeah, encourage. I love encourage as an advantage for Superman for sure. Encourage is a command advantage. You can do a command action and spend a hero point to grant an ally an advantage or extra effort. So basically, you can spend a hero point so somebody can use extra effort without going fatigued. Which I am a big fan of that for Superman. Fallen inspiration feels like something that we shouldn't put on Superman, even though I do think if he got incapacitated, it would inspire everybody else to be better. But let me see. Also, everybody can interpose now. Interpose is no longer an advantage; it is a reaction you can take on your turn. Hey, the known Dark Senate. I am one of the DMs around here. Thanks for hanging out with us. I DM on Wednesday nights for Guardians of Haven, and I've also done Freedomly Dark in the Multiverse of the Master Mage. I'm the DM for the podcast Titan City Serials, so I'm here a lot. It's also my office hours. I am the director here at the Untold Stories Project as my official role. Do I DM SW5E? Is that Star Wars 5E? Also, thank you for following the known Dark Senate. I appreciate that. Interpose being a free ability is agreeable more than all out attack anyway. I appreciate that. I appreciate your willingness, Desmond, to go along with us. Oh, D&D 5th edition. I have been known to DM some 5e in my time. It's been a while. The last 5e campaign I ran was Curse of Strahd. In 2021, I want to say. But I play more 5e than I run. And organize SW5e, but heavily customized. All out attack is well, it's something everybody could do. What do you mean by free? Oh, you do an evil Star Wars politically themed D&D campaign. That sounds fun. Yeah, everybody can do interpose and everybody can do all out attack now. Yeah, that sounds dope. The Dark Senate. I do run some Star Wars stuff using Mutants and Masterminds, the game we're looking at now. I've done some Old Republic stuff. We did have an adventure here on the channel. A couple of Star Wars adventures on the channel, actually. We've done. I wrote an adventure called How Hondo Stole Life Day, which was a Christmas-themed adventure with Hondo Ohnaka from the Clone Wars. And I did an adventure where a group of bounty hunters went after a clone of Anakin Skywalker made by the Emperor as an attempt to try to make another chosen one. Yeah, and I've done some Clone Wars, like some Republic Commando adventures. I love the Old Republic is probably my favorite Star Wars time period, and I really like the Old Republic MMO. I've run. There was a Rakghoul Roundup adventure that I did where they went to Terrace to try to figure out a cure for the Rakghoul plague. Yeah, I haven't done Star Wars in a little while, but I do enjoy Star Wars quite a bit. I'm actually going to a con here in a couple weeks where I'll be playing in a Star Wars game as a stormtrooper on Endor. Who's like, why are we even building a shield generator on this backwater planet? I assume I'm going to get murdered by teddy bears. Yeah, Crone, you do need to get that West End one shot organized on the Discord. Played an Ewok Jedi in your Star Wars game? That's what's up. I was also part of a stream called Smuggler's Run a few years back over on Geek Unleashed. I played a clone in the interwar period who was ashamed of Order 66. He was cool. All right, advantages. Let's get back to work. Doc Void, you've been subscribed for 10 months? That's what's up. Welcome back. Welcome in. How are you doing tonight? Are you having a good Monday? Another fun advantage is Partner Bond, which is a heroic advantage. You can use the encourage effect on a chosen partner once per session. So basically, you could pick another player character to have this partner bond with, and the two of you can basically trade a use of extra effort back and forth. As long as you both take partner bond. If only one of you takes partner bond, you can do that benefit for them, but not necessarily for both. Uh-oh. We're at a hype train. Thanks for resubbing, Paradox. I appreciate it. It does kind of sound like a great World's Finest, right? You took the day off and hung out with a friend to celebrate his birthday? That's awesome, Doc Void. I love that for you. Batman. That's the trouble with Superman, is that though he can have a partner bond with just about anybody. Oh yeah, you were thinking Clark and Diana? You know, and I think in the animated series it would be Batman and Diana. But I don't know. It's hard to miss the world's finest connection. And it's a new toy. We should just I'll just have a couple people have new toys. Also, I think this would be great for Green Lantern and Hawk Girl, depending on what time of the timeline we're in. Quick counter. Redirect, reverse hold, reviving team attack, rush of victory. Oh, I wonder who should have rush of victory. Rush of victory is a new advantage. You spend a hero point for allies to remove a damage condition when you incapacitate a foe. That feels like somebody should have that in this group. Maybe the Flash? I don't know. Split attack, stunning strike, tactical advance, takedown, team code, teamwork. Is leadership still a thing? Leadership might be gone. Yeah. Leadership's given way to encourage. Ultimate effort, toughness checks feels like a good idea. Since he is going to be tanking all the hits for everybody. We got 6 points left. Oh, up and Atom is a command advantage to you could take a command action to allow your allies to stand with instant up. Untap potential, uncanny dodge, trance. Is holding back still here? Oh no, yeah, holding back is in here. I'm not going to give that to him. Holding back would be the advantage for the world made of cardboard speech. I'd argue that that's probably a power stunt, like a spend a hero point to get an advantage. So yeah, Doc Void, I am building characters for my Justice League game this weekend because it is in 5 days and I haven't built the characters yet. Spent the weekend playing board games at a friend's house many miles away to celebrate his birthday with your gaming group. You had a great weekend, Doc Void. I love that for you. I love when the main GL team has great chemistry and teamwork, so I lean Batman because I love their bromance, but I agree he could do it with most of the team. Yeah. There's also like the alien bro thing with Martian Manhunter and Superman. I love that episode where he brings John to the Kent family Christmas. It's so good. Batman pansexual confirmed. I could believe it. Team code. I think teamwork also makes sense for Superman. -1. I'm going to put one more point in encourage as well. So he can encourage twice in one session. That leaves me with 4 points. I think I'll put those 4 points into skills. So I can put a couple points in vehicles. So if he needs to drive the Javelin, he can. I'll just put a single power point into that. 3 power points left. I'll put another 2 points into perception to get it to 14 because he be perceiving, especially since I don't have Green Arrow on this team. 2 points. I'll put. I didn't put any points into insight, so I'll put a couple points into insight. And we'll call that a day. We are at 200 power points for the Man of Steel. Yeah, with the lead line Christmas presents. Yeah. Of the Justice League bats is the one that Lone Wolf's at the most. Yeah. But even then, you know, I'm thinking of that scene in Justice League Doom at the end where Superman goes to talk to Batman after Batman gets kicked out of the Justice League, and they have that moment together. Spoiler alert for a 15-year-old movie if you haven't seen it. Special request for an appearance by Vibe. What is this, a Legends of Tomorrow adventure? Will be some kind of Suicide Squad? All right, so actions. This section is going to be a quick at a glance thing for my players who are new to the game to play. Basically, um, it'll be all of their attack actions, and then I'll add in the other actions you can take on your turn. Things like a command action, like um, all that fun stuff. G Battle Rock, thank you so much for the bits, my friend. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good night and a good Monday. Thanks for pointing out the performance +0 for me, Desmond, because I definitely would have missed that, and somebody would have been like, well, it doesn't say I can't do that. But that's what the asterisk is for. All right, so unarmed. He gets a total of +8 to hit because our attack bonus is 8. So 1d20 +8 versus defense class of target. Damage is 16 because of his strength. Toughness, DC 26. Wendy and Marvin's new vehicle's a Pontiac Vibe. Michael in chat says yes for 5e on my character sheet. I have 3 columns: actions, bonus actions, and reactions. Yeah, we don't have bonus actions in M&M, but yes, I want to have a special actions reactions section because you have the new reaction as an option. So making it clear what is an action, what is a reaction. God, what a mess. Heat vision. And I'll pretty this up when we get into the when I put it on the actual character sheet. And then I got the character art and whatever with it. 1d20 +8 versus defense class of target. Damage 10. Toughness DC 20. Range. How far can I shoot my eye beams? I think it's distance rank equal to the rank of the power. I'm pretty sure. Or 10 times 10 maybe. Increased range. See range at the start of this chapter for more details. Oh no. Range appears in this book 649 times. Plastic Man reaction. Overdramatic goofy smile with too much smooth teeth. Oh man, I didn't want to think about this before, but can you imagine what Plastic Man's teeth feel like? My guess is it's like a partially chewed chiclet. Like you click, like it's not all the way like gum yet. It's still a little clicky. I don't know. Apologies to anybody who had to hear that on the internet now or in the future. All right, ranged. This effect works at a distance, limited by concealment and cover and requiring a ranged attack check against the target's defense class. A ranged effect has a short range of rank times distance value 1, a medium range of rank times distance value 2, and a long range of rank times distance value 3. Note the use of distance values in this formula. Ranged attack checks at medium range suffer a -2 penalty, while ranged attack checks at long range have a -5 penalty. So I gotta go to the distance. I'm going the distance. I'm going for speed. I'm vocal stimming. Sorry. God, where are you? I'm close. I know I'm close. Spinning that mouse wheel. Okay, here we go. Not metric. I don't know nothing about metric. Distance. Here we go. So it's damage. Well, that can't be true, right? Rank 10 would be. That can't be. If it's rank times 1, distance rank 10 is a mile. Rank times 2 would be 1,000 miles, and rank times 3 would be 1,000,000 miles. So that I'm doing something wrong here. I can. I didn't want to. Yeah, this is where a hyperlinked index on an eDoc would help me 1,000,000%. I'm working from the Word document final text that hasn't even gone to editing yet, so I don't have that as an option at my disposal at the moment. Hopefully soon. Actually, that's not. It has gone to editing. Just kidding. Hasn't gone to layout yet. I think Plastic Man can control the hardness of his body at least to an extent, or some of the shapes the tape can't wouldn't work, so he can make his teeth hard when needed. Calvin, that face. That's what I'm checking now. I'm double checking Desmond to make sure I'm reading it right because I think I'm reading it wrong. I must be reading it wrong. It can't be that far. You're probably right. I should have written down. All right, range. Around 127 for the next time I need to know it. Limited by concealment and cover and requiring a ranged attack check against the target's defense class. A ranged effect has a short range of rank times distance value 1, a medium range of rank times distance value 2, and a long range of rank times distance value 3. I'm not sure how to interpret that. I'm going to share it in chat so we can talk about it. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Desmond. I think you're right. I think you're right. I'll share the text here and anyway. So it's not. It's okay. 10 times 1. 10 times distance 1. I just have to double check that the rank is the same. Distance rank 1 is now 15 feet, so short range is 150 feet. Long range is 300, or medium range is 300 feet. Long range is 600 feet. Okay. 150 feet by 300 feet by 600 feet. Yeah, we did decrease distance values. Still don't 100% understand why, but I do know that we did that. All right. Glad we worked that out. Ice Breath. Rank 10 AoE. And I believe that is a 15-foot cone, if I remember right. Might be a 30-foot cone. Let me double check. Oh, I guess I could have spent a hero point to give him super breath, which is just like blow away breath instead of a. The effect fills a cone with a length distance or the length of distance rank 2 and a height of distance rank 2. So it's a 30-foot cone. $30-foot 30-foot cone area originating from mouth. Rank 10 snare. Or I'll just put snare 10. Dodge 20, then dodge 20 or 15. Then resisted by. Overcome by damage or strength. First degree, hindered / vulnerable. Second degree, immobile / defenseless. It means guns have range increasing features rather than shotguns have a bunch of range decreasing flaws. Yeah, that is a good thing, I think. It's really hard to build sniper rifles in this game, right? Because you would think longer range, better to hit, better damage, right? Typically, when you're thinking of somebody who's a sniper, they can shoot really well for like a 50 cal. But the way that power level trades off, you can't get your to hit too much higher, or you won't be able to increase your damage. So it's always been like, I don't know. I think for characters that are snipers, there's things that you can do, like you can increase the damage ranks, obviously. But if you increase the damage ranks, your bonus to hit goes down. So you're looking at really a sniper rifle is less accurate and more damage, which feels there's some dissonance there for me, I guess, where I would think it would be better at hitting and more damage. But that's just not how M&M works. Yeah, improved crits typically how I make it work. Yeah, range damage 6, dangerous 1, improved aim, extended vision 1. That's a great way to build it. But if your machine gun is damage 5, or your pistol is damage 4 or whatever, you're not looking at a massive improvement in damage. I guess you can put penetrating on it if you're looking at things like a 50 cal, where it's going to punch through armor. This isn't a military sim RPG, so like it doesn't need to do that. It doesn't need to do those things in a way other games would. Yeah, win with dice. I agree. Extended vision is cool for a sniper rifle. I've been updating my Arctic Fox character sheet for some reason. Should be treated with backstab dice for damage. Oh, that would be cool. I wonder. I don't even. Did he get rid of that? He probably got rid of that. Man, I really like that advantage. That was a good advantage. In the playtest edition, there was a surprise attack advantage where if you had the drop on somebody, you got +5 DC, +5 ranks to your DC. But you couldn't do that if you modified your bonus to hit in any way. So you couldn't combine it with power attack, basically. It is kind of fiddly, though. I do agree that it's sort of kind of annoying to deal with. What are his other abilities? What are his reactions? Oh. It has only taken me 2 hours to make one character. I want to mess with senses a lot more in my game. My players haven't developed into them so much, so I'm sure I can use it against them. That's true. You got to teach them. And then you too can be asked every game session, does it have a soul? Only 77 more characters to go. No, I just need to do 6 more Justice Leaguers and then the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I believe I've got 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I'm at 7 for them. Cool. Yeah, Star Lord, Gamora, Nebula, Mantis, Drax, Rocket, and Groot. At this rate, I'll be done someday. Ready for the Halloween cosplay game. I'm ready for it too. And I mean, I'll go faster when I'm not on stream. I won't be explaining my thought processes and basically doing a fun preview of the way the game works now. Reactions. I need to look up what reaction options we have. He doesn't have any reaction advantages, so I just need to look at what standard reactions are. Which I'm pretty sure is in action types. Here we go. Okay. So everybody has the following reactions. You can catch. Catch a falling object within reach. It's an agility check with a DC of 10. I need to write these down. We're going to go back to... You saying we're distracted? No, you're not distracting me. You're entertaining me in a way that is distracting. Sorry, I got to turn the screen off while I write down the lists here. Got to list it first. It's this whole thing. Yes, interpose has to go first. Interpose. I'm gonna move. Interpose. Bum, 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 bum. It's so easy to fall into Star Wars with with that the Superman theme. So you can interpose, you can catch, you can evade, you can tumble. I don't think Superman's going to need to tumble, but just in case. Those are the 4 baseline reactions. You can also ready to counter, so you can use your reaction to counter. And if you have the quick counter advantage, you can counter as a reaction without readying to do so. So the evade effect, when you're within an area of effect, see area effect in the powers chapter, you can use your reaction to gain a +2 bonus to your dodge resistance checks against area effects until the start of your next turn. There's also an improved evasion advantage now, which I'll double check in a minute. And then interpose, you can take an attack meant for somebody. Tumble, you can reduce fall damage with an acrobatics check. But the improved evasion advantage, it has 2 ranks. The first rank is +5 for dodge resistance checks versus area effects. The second rank is move out of area effects, which we're probably going to have to keep an eye on that because speedsters always being able to avoid area effects feels bad. I don't know. Nobody tell Deuce. Deuce will be very sad. Oh no, Deuce is in chat. Yeah, I wonder how that actually works. Let me look up the text for the advantage. He knows. He knows. Yeah, whoops, dude, Battle Rock. I like the +2, +5. I just struggled to justify it without the character being fast enough to leave the explosion. Yeah, I agree. It makes sense from a narrative point of view. I don't know. It feels a little strong to me. Like one of the things that you can do to fend off speedsters is area effects, but they could spend 2 power points to avoid that, basically. With 2 ranks of disadvantage, if you succeed on your dodge resistance check, you can move your normal speed out of the area effect up to your full speed or until you're outside the area, whichever comes first. This moves you outside the area, it does not affect you. So with two ranks, you do have to succeed on the resistance check, so that is a thing to consider. But you can move your normal speed out of the area effect up to your full speed or until you're outside the area, whichever comes first. So you can't just run off the edge of the battlefield, which is a good thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy for the speedsters. I'm sad for the people who have to fight the speedsters. Yeah, a smart villain will drive a character into an AoE with no way to avoid it. Yeah, and I mean, you could make a sufficiently large area of effect that the speedster doesn't have enough movement to get out of, but that's a big explosion. And you're probably going to have a very different end of your game at that point. I'll fill in more information about these, but those are the reactions that this version of Superman has access to. Yeah. Complications. Weaknesses, kryptonite, and magic. I'm going to give him a home field complication. Metropolis is Clark's home, and it is currently under attack by Martians. He is more likely to recognize bystanders, and locations under attack. Kryptonite magic, red solar radiation. Home villains. Metropolis. It's the stomping ground of many of Superman's enemies. It would be a shame any of them tried to use the invasion to their benefit. No, and the goal of complications is always to provide good role playing hooks for people and to provide challenges for the characters. These, and I do think of complications very much as a transactional experience, where as a player, you see that you have these on your sheet. You can ask me as the GM, "Hey, is this a good point for this to come into play?" And we can decide yes or no, just depending on the moment. If I as the GM want to add that wrinkle to what's going on, or if we don't want to deal with it. Um, Make a character with caustic defenses. Yep. Smart characters are so much work. That's true, Miss Violet. They're tough. I will run it as an invasion as a tactic advantage and not an athletic advantage, so speedsters won't get it, and ninjas will. Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh, I got to build Dr. Phosphorus, Mr. I'm Stuck. I ran a Creature Commandos game, and he was a lot of fun. Actually, I don't know if I've told you all this story yet, but at UConn, I ran a game of Creature Commandos that only one person signed up for. And that person, I was like, "Hey, it's just you and me. I'm comfortable to run the game if you are. How about I give you 2-player characters so you have enough, like you can do things and not rely on just one character to get things done." And this guy picked Dr. Phosphorus. No. He picked GI Robot and Weasel. And through the course of role playing, he found a believable way to get into a PvP situation with himself, which was amazing. I cannot stress how awesome it was that I was present for that situation. um, yeah, it was ridiculous. Basically, GI Robot went to the sheriff's office to like track down the lead for the investigation they were doing, and he spoke to the sheriff, and the sheriff was like, "Hey, since you're in town, my ex-wife is a real Nazi. She's crazy." And GI Robot, with no adults in the room, was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to that house and terminate that Nazi." And he got to the house. He executed he executed the ex-wife and powered down because he realized that the villain had been staking out this place to be the next site of the site of the next attack. Weasel hung out around the house and then met their son on the way home, and he took the son inside, and the um the son was upset about his dead mother because of course, and it's a rated M game, and it was one player and me. So Weasel was like, "Why are you upsetting my friend?" And GI Robot was like, "Well, she was a Nazi." And then they both were like, "There's no backing down for either of them at that point because Weasel's like, this is my new adopted friend. I love the kids. This is who I'm here to help, and you're upsetting him." And GI Robot was like, "I didn't do anything wrong, and now you're a sympathizer." And they got into a combat. Weasel wasn't able to damage GI Robot because of impervious toughness. He used all of his extra effort to get penetrating and knocked himself out through extra effort. And then the villain showed up and attacked GI Robot while he was by himself. It felt like something that would happen in the show, which was always fun. Yeah, I did kind of sit back and we both we discussed. I was like, "Well, I don't see a situation where these characters are going to just like leave each other alone at this point. I feel like we're there." Yeah, Mr. I'm Stuck. It was nuts. It was a completely organic PvP situation between one guy and himself through the power of storytelling. It was a great game. I had a lot of fun with that. So, Superman's assets. Fortress of Solitude. Arctic headquarters. I'll put in the stats for what it has access to, but basically supercomputer, Superman robots. I'm putting Kellex down because Kellex deserved to have his name in the movie. I was so sad. Buns of Steel. The Daily Planet staff, I will say, is an asset. The Daily Planet's not a headquarters for him. Well, I guess I'll just put the Daily Planet and staff as one of his assets. Kellex robot, uh, lab, workshop. Daily Planet, Daily Planet, and staff. Crypto, the super dog. Kellex and Gary, best of friends. Yes. Gary is a name. um, and I'm just thinking of things that could come up in the story. I'm not going to list out everything that he's got access to, like the Kent Farm or Smallville. Or Kara, because I'll probably rework his sheet a little bit to make a Supergirl as an option. I want to squeeze some additional characters in without doing additional work and doing a couple of point changes here and there. I tend to make Supergirl scrappier and less protective than her cousin. You know you're a hero and your job is an asset. I was tempted to say Superman's asset, a butt that can crush diamonds. Asset, David Cornsweat's face. um, Symbol of hope is an asset he's got access to. Basically, a reputation across the galaxy. Like people know who Superman is, and when Superman's here, he's here to save the day. And that's Superman in so many points. It's not just his butt that can do it. See, now Kara would have all out and power attack. She doesn't give a F about defensive or accurate attack. She's not her cousin. She's here to lay you the hell out. Kara Zor-El will fuck you up. She's great for that, though. All right, so. Well, let's move on to Batman, I guess. Dark Knight. I don't want to objectify the guy. He's Superman, for crying out loud. All right, Batman. No, 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 Batman. Batman. This is where I run into some like some 3E, 4E dissonance. I miss fighting as an ability for characters like Batman. Like he's got a high agility on it, obviously, but I just, and I guess I need to remember that agility is not tied to attack, so it wouldn't behoove me to give him like a 10 agility. Depends on which Kara. I'm really pumped for the Supergirl movie this summer. I think it's gonna be great. I'm biased, but the weather's changing and my throat's feeling a little scratchy, so I hope I'm not getting sick. Be very unfortunate if I didn't feel well for the convention this weekend. 4 strength, 4 stamina, with 8 agility, intellect 6, awareness 6, presence 6. So that is minus 8 for strength, minus 8 for stamina, minus 16 for agility, minus 12 for intellect, minus 12 for awareness, minus 12 for presence. Leaves me 132 points to spend. My dodge is starting at an 8. Toughness is starting at a 4. Fortitude is starting at a 4. My will is starting at a 6. I'm the goddamn Batman. Plus 8 initiative. Attack, we're going to get him like a plus 16 attack, I think. We just rewatched the Superman movie last weekend, currently waiting on the Super Mario movie. I think Mario will be fun. Hey, basics of the game, how's it going tonight? Michael's not a fan of the amount of humor Gunn uses. That's fair. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I don't know. It appeals to me the way I do the way I use comedy in gaming, which is not necessarily something that's for everybody. With a 16 attack, that is 32 points. Good lord. Then I need like a 16 in defense as well, which is another 32 points. Ugh. Yeah, 26 to hit Batman. Dodge, I'm going to pump a couple points into to get it up to like... That's 4 points to get to 12. Do I want to do another 2 points, make it a 14? No, I'll leave it at 12. I'll leave it at 12. I do want his will to be up to at least 12. So that's 6 points there. I'm just keeping an eye on my points. Batman's scarier than Superman to build. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, basics of the game. Miss Violent Violence says, I think I can't help but bring comedy to a game. It's just where I go when things get bad. One of those people who are laughing or crying, sometimes both at a funeral. I think Gunn's humor is sometimes off-putting, but he hit the mark on Superman's character. Superman's amazing because he inspires others, and he got that. I do like the Superman as firefighter argument I've heard about for the Gunn movie, where Superman is more concerned about the preservation of life than he is about the fight. And I think that's something that I want to see more of, for sure. G Battle Rock hasn't cared about that character in ages. Welcome back. I love Superman. He is one of my all-time favorites. Oh, no, I forgot to... hold on. Batman. Best Superman fights aren't about the fights, they're about all the things he has to juggle while being punched. Yes, I agree. Anyone who could fight evildoers in a bodysuit has confidence of steel. So Batman has an intellect of 6. We start off with 6 in investigation. I'm going to get that to at least 16. So that's 5 power points. Wow. Good news, Batman doesn't need a lot of power points. Like points in powers specifically. I'll have more room for lots of things. Um, I think I'm not going to give him an expertise skill because the skills I would give him are covered by investigation, but I am going to give him the know-it-all advantage. The know-it-all advantage means that he can make any expertise check untrained, if I remember right. You can use any intellect-based expertise skill untrained, including answering difficult questions. See untrained skills and expertise in the skills chapter. So yeah, I'll give him the know-it-all advantage. So basically, he has a +6 to any expertise skill. Superman has always led to one of my descriptions of problems with superhero games. The Superman problem is how do you make a game where Superman and other characters exist in a scene that is balanced and lets the other characters shine? Some systems failed that Superman problem. You say that until you stumble your way into spending 70 points on advantages and equipment. Bad shark repellent. Um, and I'll admit, basics of the game, I do think that Mutants and Masterminds handles the Superman problem well with a good game master. That's the caveat I'll put in there. And that's probably that's true of any situation where a character is massively more powerful than the others. There are things in M that can protect against it, like if everybody is the same power level, Superman can be really good at the things Superman is good at, but everybody else has the same amount of points to be good at whatever they're good at, which comes down to communication and good work, like good party composition discussions with your players. And the idea of, well, Superman in a solo book is always way more powerful than Superman in a team book because Superman is on the team for a reason. And I think the stories that struggle the most depicting Superman are the ones that don't put those guardrails in place. And that's a very big discrepancy between, like, it's ludonarrative dissonance, right? Where Superman could conceivably solve all of the problems. And if Superman is not solving all of the problems, then he is not performing as Superman to the best of his ability. But that is the logical in-universe explanation, where there are things from an external to the narrative perspective that need to happen so that everybody can have their moment. And I don't know. I have played M games where it has been mixed power level, and I've been the power level 15 Superman mixed in with the other power level members of the Justice League. I've also done an M game where I was Superman and everybody else was Daily Planet attendants, like Daily Planet staff, where I was the only superpower person in the room. And that game master was very lucky I was the person who turned up to play Superman because I didn't want to step in anybody's spotlight. I didn't want to be the guy who was like, oh, I'll just solve every problem because I'm Superman. He did for the first hour basically of the adventure. I was Superman, like I had all my powers and whatever. At the hour mark, Krypton or Metropolis was placed in a red solar dome, so I lost my powers and I was on par with everybody else in the Daily Planet. Um, but if he had a player who showed up who wanted to like do the power fantasy thing, it would have been really. I think it would have been really tough from a game mastering perspective. Yeah, it's doable, and a GM fixes many issues. Superman's only got a +9 in journalism. Yeah, he's got a +9 total, 6 specialization ranks. That's just my note that I. Oh, I didn't even go through and put how many ranks he has in each skill. I'll fix that later. But he's only got a +9 to journalism. Batman. I'll probably bump Batman up even more than 16. I need to prioritize my points. I think that problem is best solved like it was in the episode of Justice League Unlimited. A volcanic island is about to explode. Jean is finding everyone who needs saving and evacuating. Wonder Woman and Flash are going out and saving people. Hawkgirl's flying people who need help now out. Batman and Geo are fighting as needed. Superman's trying to stabilize the volcano. Then he gets attacked by Doomsday, and Wonder Woman swaps to helping him while the rest of the league speeds up the evac. Yeah, I agree. And there's games. I mean, there are video games that have done a good job of that. There's a the Superman Returns video game had this really awesome mechanic where Superman didn't have a health bar, but Metropolis did. So if Superman started taking damage, quote unquote, the city was just getting more and more damaged. So it wasn't that Superman was going to be defeated; it was the city was in danger, and you needed to prioritize keeping everything safe, which was, I think, is a really cool way to sort of, quote unquote, solve the Superman problem. I think of it like MOBA roles. Yeah, it helps. Like, and that's the line you walk when you're running a superhero role playing game, right? There is superhero narrative from external sources like comic books and movies and video games and animated series and things like that, where you have this idea of who the character is and what they do. That idea needs to be married with the gameplay aspects of it, and that's always an interesting challenge to solve. Like, and good games provide options to make things that the character does outside of their continuity or whatever in the game terms or outside of the game's rules. There are ways to reflect things that happen. Like, I like the uh we were talking earlier about the Green Lantern rings database and how we might build that in Mutants and Masterminds and what purpose it serves in the story. Are you really a hero if you're the only one left alive? Yeah, Soups is the support. He's frontline and holds his abilities to counter engage. I thought Mutants and Masterminds would make a good system to run Overwatch and League of Legends because each character is so unique. Yeah, I agree. M&M is a great system for any game, any setting that has characters with amazing powers that are all different from each other. Um, and making sure that everybody can feel like the character they're trying to feel like, but also play on a relatively even playing field. That's why I really like it for Star Wars because it helps solve a little bit of the Jedi steamroll problem, where if you're in a group of player characters in a Star Wars game and you have one Jedi and everybody else is not, the Jedi has a lot more tools at their disposal. There's a lot more things that they can do. Where in M&M, the Jedi has spent most of their power points on their Force powers, while everybody else has a deeper, richer well of advantages and skills and even tech to call on. Or they're a droid and they're just straight up immune to some things that you're going to encounter as a character. Um, yeah, I really like M&M for anything that has very cinematic action. Actually, I did run a at UConn last year. I ran a Dungeon Crawler Carl game with M&M, which it wasn't a perfect fit. You know, there's a level of lethality in Dungeon Crawler Carl that's not present in Mutants and Masterminds, and I am glad that the new RPG is coming out for Dungeon Crawler Carl. Krillin also brings up that it has a decently robust rules outside of combat, where the game that a lot of people want to hack into every other game that is less true of. Yeah, and we could do better about it. You know, I do think that M&M we've been moving into the design space to fill in more than just the combat stuff. It's been a big focus for me and Steve on the new edition and my tenure at M&M for the longest time. All right, powers. What does Batman do? Where does he get those toys? Weapons array. Utility belt. other incidental tools array. I do usually build his utility belt as an array as well. So usually I build a weapons array that includes all the different kinds of batarangs and explosive gels or whatever he's got access to. The utility belt has things like his evidence collection kit, his gauntlet computer, the grapnel swing line, binoculars, sensors, anything like that that he's going to need on a case-by-case basis. It also lets me use the utility belt as a power stunt tool, so you can stunt the utility belt itself to have access to some equipment. Desmond tried Star Wars and M&M, did a decent job, but my group preferred the official Edge Star Wars for various reasons. Yeah, and to be clear, there's no wrong way to play a story as long as you and your friends are having fun. I mean, there's a game for everyone, but there is no game for everyone. It's kind of how I try to break it down in my brain. And I think you can learn something from every RPG you play. There's, even if it's just don't play that RPG anymore. Yeah, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is help people have fun and escape. And as long as we're doing that, we're doing our job. Are there faction play rules in M&M? There's a little bit of that in the new handbook that's coming out that I'm not going to say the name of because every time I say the name it adds 3 months to the development time. But the Scottish handbook has some discussions about faction rules. We also talk a little bit about that in the Valiant Adventures book that's coming out, and I believe there's some of that in the Masterminds manual that Steve's working on, but I'll have to double check on that. I'd really like to. There's Blades in the Dark, I think, has a heat map for factions. I really like that idea conceptually, and I kind of want to borrow some of that, especially for the Titan City stuff I've been doing. Miss Violet Vaughn says, I think it would be fun to play Titan City in a speakeasy. I think it would be fun too. Actually, the Pride of Monsters game I run once a month over on Don't Kill My Character is a group of monsters who own a speakeasy and their struggles in the city. Titan City Noir. Yeah. Basics of the game. I'm doing the Justice League because I'm running a Justice League game at a convention this weekend. And I foolishly decided to do it in 4th edition instead of in 3rd edition. Yeah, Krillin says I think it fits superheroes and comics really well. I'm just touchy about people saying let's play D&D when they bring up another game. Yeah, and that crust is the hardest thing for any RPG to come through, right? Like it's such an interesting industry because there's this huge monolith in the middle, and that is where most people stop their exploration to tabletop role playing games. Is they put their feet into D&D and they know D&D and that's all they need. And they want to tell other kinds of stories, but they either don't know about other options or they're just not willing to engage in other options. And I think that conversation is so hard to have. That's why I think everybody should try conventions for tabletop role playing games. And I think if you go to a convention, you should play at least one new game every time you go. Something that you haven't played before, or a setting you haven't played in before. Just something that expands your horizons, because there's something to be learned all over, right? Yeah, Blades in the Dark does have a lot of cool little systems. Yeah, it is also where most people start, and they don't want to learn another set of rules. Miss Violet, I don't like when people explain their RPG to me in D&D terms. I played D&D like 4 times ever. Pretty useful. Explaining to me in terms of any other RPG would be more useful. I asked because I'm working on my microbrew setting involving rival super clans. Yes. Yeah, Pathfinder's a fun game too. Especially Pathfinder 2, I think, has done a lot to distance itself from D&D. Yeah, your microbrew setting sounds really cool, Michael in chat. There's nothing Uh, I'm trying to think of what I could point you to specifically to get you started, but it is something that I've been thinking about for Titan City in particular because there's so many factions in that setting, and it part of the that's kind of the big difference between Earth Prime and the Titan City setting is I can get a lot more insular than Steve can in Earth Prime because Steve has to do a whole cosmology, and I just have to do one metropolis in New England. There's other corners of the Titan City universe, of course, but the primary product for the Titan City universe is the city itself. So there is, I can get a lot more granular because I don't have to focus on the wider picture. I say that, but the current episode, the current serial on the podcast is all about monster kids at summer camp out of the city limits. Yeah, Savage Worlds is fun. There are so many games to play in so little time. Powered by the Apocalypse is very vibes and RP, and it does get crunchier from there. I would say. I love some good Powered by the Apocalypse games. My wife helped write a game called Witch Punks, where you're a witch and you're in a punk rock band, and you have two stats. You've got witch and punk. And I've played a lot of lovely games of Honey Heist, where you have two stats: bear and criminal, and figuring out you're a bear who is also a criminal in that game. D&D is a boon and curse for the whole market. It's inarguably true that the industry relies on it. It brings more TTRPG players than any game, and many of the people who move on to other games start in D&D, but also makes it hard to get noticed or sell other games. Yeah. Where can I find Witch Punks? That's where can you find Witch Punks to buy it? I can send you a copy. I had to check with I have to check with Liz where the marketplace is for that. Well, if they want to fight, they say I want to fuck shit up, and they get to do that. Yeah, it's not for everybody. There are gamers who love crunch. There are gamers who love light, fluffy games. I think it is interesting that there is. It feels like there's this nostalgic switch back to crunchier games in the moment, and that could just be me just looking in like reading into the massive success of the Eminem Kickstarter because a lot of people call our game really crunchy, even though I think most of that crunch is in character creation, and then once you get into gameplay, you're good to go. Yep, Deadlands is great. I love Deadlands. Uh, Master martial artist. Good lord, figure out how to spell. There we go. So I'll put his speed in here. Not, I mean like speed one. So he's speed two maybe. So he's faster than a regular person. Able to make those quick getaways right away. Movement sure-footed. So he's never waylaid by hindering terrain. Parkour. The martial arts, I do also tend to do something like strength-based damage multi-attack. Um, so I can do. I've got plus 16 to hit. I can get the damage up to 8 if I want to. 8 might be a little high. I don't know. OSR not necessarily crunch, but more interpretive rules rather than hard and fast rules. Yeah, and that, I mean that's always the question, isn't it? The interpretive rules. Like it's amazing how many rule books are very like legalese. And Steve and I were talking about this at Gen Con this year. A lot of that is to make sure the worst people can't mess up your game. And Steve just said, "Screw it. I'm not designing for the worst people anymore. I'm designing for the people that I want to play with." And assuming that you can sort out the people who are, bad to play with, which isn't always easy. There are bat suits, the other power I want to build. It's not easy. It's a lesson everybody has to learn. And I talked about this a little bit today on M&M Monday when we were talking about problem players and our lovely problem player GM. I didn't want to name him on Mutants and Masterminds Monday, but since you all are USP people, Deuce is the GM that we get to watch the problem players at our mega event. Because there are people who suck to play with. And in my opinion, it is always better to have no game than it is to have a bad game, and I think that is something that's hard to. I think it's something that's hard to put together. Yeah, toolbox games are sort of my jam too. That's what really drew me to M&M originally when I first was looking for my first superhero game. I like the effect system and I like how much of it is open to player and game master interpretation. Desmond, I am going to give him a tech suit. Ward Maximus, you weren't there because you were a problem player though. You were there to help Deuce with the problem players. Oh, I'm giving him the glide effect. I love a gliding bat. Arkham City is my definitive Batman. Which I've always felt it's always interesting to me because the Arkham games feel like they could be an extension of a lot of different Batman media. Like I can see Arkham being a continuation of so many different things. Like obviously the animated series because Kevin Conroy is there. The vibe is similar to that. Yeah. As Deuce says, not everyone at the table is a problem player, but every problem player finds their way there. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a side effect of my own success. It is such an arrogant way to say that, but I've been running superhero games at Origins for 15 years now, and the superhero RPG community is at conventions is not super big. So I do wind up seeing a lot of the same faces over and over again, and they do wind up buying my games out immediately. So I do notice trends in people, and I give people nicknames, and I I file them away in my book to be like, oh no, I'm not gonna have a good time with this person. Yeah, the Timverse is so good. Nobody here in this chat is a problem player, so you don't have a problem nickname. Batman to Justice League need pickup considering I can't fly at all. Now would be good. Yeah, little deuce. So yeah, the bat suit's gonna have senses, armor, cape, and I love the cape. I love giving some stats to the cape. I might give a bonus to intimidation just as a treat to myself. Um, yeah, maybe the bat computer can do some. And this is like one other thing I like about M&M is there's no wrong way. There are many right ways to build something, right? Like my Batman suit usually has a computer in his gauntlet that he can use to hack into things. So is that enhanced trait technology, or do I go like comprehend machines and basically he hacks into the machine and he's able to interface with it and communicate with it? Um, that's more of a question of flavor, I guess. I don't even remember what it's from, but I always remember Batman and Robin hiding behind capes as they're being flamethrowered. Basics is a longest running game as a Champions campaign. That's awesome. Yeah, I love superhero games. I wish they were a bigger niche in the space, and maybe they will be with the new edition of M&M. Who knows? The future is bright, and I'm really excited to see what happens with my favorite game. I'm biased, working on being one of the people who works on it. Give us Cape Evasion 1. That would be cool. Yeah. Safe fall. Safe fac. Armor. Toughness 4. Yeah, I'll put protection 4 on it. So we get to toughness 8. The fact that the bat suit doesn't provide any armor in the DC Adventures, like the heroes and villains book, has always ground my gears. Yeah, the Kickstarter did amazing. I We didn't make as much money as the Invincible RPG did because of conversion rates, but we did wind up with 100 more backers than the Invincible RPG. If you had told me that at the beginning of the Kickstarter, I would not have believed you. I was I was down bad for that Invincible license. I really thought we needed it, right, to succeed, and I was wrong. And I'm happy to admit that. Maybe no tariffs. Well, 15% tariffs or whatever. Good news. Um, since our product is a book, it is not impacted by tariffs as of the last meeting I had talking about the Kickstarter. My problem player trade is sharing memes mid game if it's a bad focus day. I get that. Yeah, it was a huge relief. That's probably why I didn't get a lot done this weekend when I should have been working on this. Is yeah, I was exhausted after the Kickstarter was over. Yeah, I made a less than wise spending decision with that Kickstarter, but I'm not yet regretting it. I think the version of Batman from that book should have been the PL10 detective version, then with a second page for PL armor and weapon upgrade pack. My problem player trade is choosing the wrong villain for my story. Mr. I'm Stuck, tell me more about that. I'm Batman. Batarang. Ranged. Strength based damage. 2, I think. Yeah. Five. Sorry. 4, 8, 9 points for Batarangs. It's gonna be more than that though. The freaking the explosive batarang is going to be a bigger boom. Doc Void redeemed a hydrate. I brought a big jug of water today to make up for all the not hydrates I've been able to redeem. Yeah, the batarangs, I'll probably make them ranged burst area damage 5, maybe burst area damage 6. We'll see. Explosive batarangs. If I go 6, that's what? 18 points. Removable or easily removable takes off 4 points for that, so it goes down to 14 points. -1 for the batarang. Yeah, tear gas. Cloud, cumulative, extra condition, ranged affliction. Had a GM running Deadlands bring the cover guy into an intro game, and I made it my goal to challenge him to a duel and win. Well, did you win, Mr. Armstead? I think Eminem will get a big boost if you could score a big IP to use it. Not that many of you have any to say on it, but if DC would come back or something else well known, pipe dreams, but still, yeah, it would be nice if we can get the DC license back. But DC's got their own thing going on right now. There is a Batman RPG out that nobody's heard of. It's out there though. I think it's just called Batman the Role Playing Game. I don't even remember what it's called. Anyone ever tried to do a Pokemon game in Eminem? Not in a long time, but I do think I had a buddy who tried that when we first started off. Oh no, it wasn't a Pokemon Eminem. It wasn't a whole Pokemon game. He wanted to play a Pokemon trainer in Eminem. Yeah, what super media is there? The Boys. Yeah, I think The Boys is the only other really big license out there for superheroes that hasn't been spoken for. Like Marvel's got the Marvel Multiverse, Invincible's got its own game coming out. DC's doing its own thing, but The Boys is such a hard sell, right? Like nobody wants to live there. Yeah, Gen V is part of The Boys, and I do like Gen V. I like Gen V a lot. I like The Boys too, but Gen V is an easier watch for me. Yeah, Dispatch is there, but Critical Role is going to make the Dispatch game. Darrington Press will make that for sure. And they'll probably use Daggerheart as a base system for it. Uh, Astro City is there. It's not as big as it used to be, but it does come up a lot with folks who love superheroes. Yeah, Astro City is beautiful. Um, the Boys is significantly better than the comic, and that is a thing I never thought I would say in my life. um, about a other property being better than a comic. Like I don't, the Boys comic is atrocious. It's terrible. It's clearly written by somebody who hates superheroes and just wanted to see how much fucked up stuff they could just cram into one tiny box. Like Homelander eats a baby in the comic books for no reason, just cause Homelander can. I hope Homelander doesn't do that in the last season of The Boys. But yeah, there's just so much just ugliness and shock for the sake of shock. Where I think the show The Boys, while it is it like it has something to say about the, terribleness that's going on. Like the terribleness is for a reason in the story. Yeah, that is Garth Ennis. Yep. The only upside of the show while reading the comics is not knowing how the show ends. Yeah, Astro City is great. I do love Astro City. I don't remember Paradox. Black Noir has Homelander's face in the comics, so it might have been Black Noir, and I just blocked it out. The Mummy extended universe would be fun. I love the Mummy. I actually the Lost Library adventure that I published as a Titan City adventure started off as a Brendan Fraser Mummy game, and I've run it at cons as a Brendan Fraser Mummy game. And actually, that's the emote that we have here, the penguin takeoff, the penguin hug emote is from when I ran the Mummy game on stream and I tried to draw an airplane on Roll20. Yeah, Spawn would be cool. I'm not sure how Spawn is tied into Invincible though. I think it's the same publisher originally. Because Spawn was in a couple of the crossover episodes or crossover issues for Invincible, along with Tech Knight and oh shoot, who were some of the other really like I think was it Angela, who was also one of the characters who showed up? Image Comics, yeah. Savage Dragon, yeah, that was one of them. Tech Jacket, yeah, that's his name. Not Tech Knight. Tech Knight's from The Boys. Tech Jacket, that's what it is. Yeah, Tech Knight is the gross Batman. Batman slash Iron Man, I guess, in the Boys comics. I think Fables would be dope. I really like Fables. Um, again, somebody, I think he actually released that into the public domain, didn't he? Obviously, Fables is a big inspiration for Titan City, especially the Wolf Among Us video game that came out a few years ago. I'm gonna say a few years ago because it's the actual number is gonna hurt my feelings. I'm gonna come back to the rest of this later. I'm wiling out. So yeah, we got through two characters. I hope that was fun for everybody. Yeah, Bill Willingham, the guy who made it, used to be an in-house artist for TSR in the early days of D&D. DC tried to block it. Don't know if it succeeded. Well, if it didn't, that could be something to look into. Our game is happening, yes, this weekend on Sunday. Um, I need to put a post into Discord about it because it would be better for me if it was a little later in the day. Um, but we could talk about that on Discord. Um, so yeah, it's about 10:30. I'm gonna take some medicine and drink some water and go lay down because it's I'm starting to feel a little under the weather and that's not good. It's probably just stress leaving my body, if I had to guess. Um, Brit would be fun to make in an Eminem game if played right. He's also an invincible character, but his only power is that he's got super toughness and imperviousness. He's a fit older man otherwise. That's awesome. As for news around the network, next Monday for office hours, I have a really fun surprise for everybody. Um, we're going to be playing Baldur's Gate 4 or Baldur's Gate 3 with the Rumble Bundle for the first time in a couple years. It's Kat's birthday, and she asked if we could all get together and play some Baldur's Gate 3. So we'll be picking up where we left off on the precipice of Act 2 or just starting Act 2 of the game. So come back next Monday, and we'll all be hanging out. It'll be a good time. The Rumble Bundle is a fun way to play Baldur's Gate because we just sort of fight everybody, sort of murder hobo our way through the realms in a way that we would not do if we were playing by ourselves. Michael and chat, I'm looking forward to seeing you at Buckeye Game Fest. If anybody else is interested, I do have some tickets available. I'll be running Guardians of the Galaxy on Friday night. I'll be running Justice League on Saturday afternoon. So stop by if you're in the area. I'd be happy to get you in. Um, Otherwise, Tomorrow we have an episode of Lancer. Wednesday we'll be back with part 1 of the Guardians of Haven series season finale, not series finale. Thursday there is a series finale for the Titan City serials, and we'll be back with Birds of a Feather. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on. I'll be at Buckeye Game Fest this weekend. Thank you everybody who's hanging out here with me tonight. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I look forward to seeing you all again. In the meantime, please make sure to take time to play a game yourself. And until I see you again, be good people. I'll see you soon.